But the point is that prices are on the rise. And the crazy thing about, Peter Schiff did a great thing on his podcast like last week where he's talking about the 1970s and like how we ignore that the 1970s and the inflation that was a result of it ever happened. And we've just kind of like pretended that it never happened and that the decisions that made it happen aren't applicable today when the total opposite is the truth. Except we're not going to have the luxury of being able to raise interest rates the way that we did in the 70s, because if we raise rates, if we raise rates 250 basis points overnight right now, we would have a full-on financial, like systemic financial collapse. It would be completely unbearable to the system. And that's 2.5%. And Druckenmiller's Miller's on TV talking about look at these fuckheads with their dirt bikes. It's just, you know what? If you live in Philly, it's enough with the dirt bikes, all right? Fucking put them away. We got to get Krasner out of the DA's office and do something. You can't have hordes of people driving around on unlicensed dirt bikes, terrorizing the city at will. And the other thing, too, is could somebody please make a differentiation between bicycles and electric scooters and motorcycles? Because motorcycles need license plates, but these little fucky things that do 30 miles an hour and people are driving them in traffic down here in the city, they got no license plates on them, they're going the wrong way in traffic, and that's the least of our problems. Murder is also a problem in the city. That's a different video for a different day. The point is, everybody in the world sees inflation as this huge threat. You don't even have to say it's a certainty. Just say that it's a threat. And the Fed won't even do that. They won't even do that. And Yellen now, as Treasury Secretary, has just sold out completely. She's just down with whatever spending Biden wants to do. And it really shows her true colors, to be honest with you. But I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But you can't call yourself an economist and pretend like inflation is not on the horizon, is not on the agenda, isn't a tangible threat. That's all you got to say, is it could be a problem. They're not even saying that. They're saying we know it's not going to be a problem. And the beautiful, wonderful thing about inflation is you don't know it's a problem until it's a fucking problem. And then it's too late. So have some respect, have some humility, be humble, don't be arrogant, right? And don't call yourself an economist if you can't understand why people don't want to return to the workforce after you've been pumping their wallets full of money that they've been turning around, putting into an unregulated, non-fungible token market that is tripling and quadrupling their money overnight on assets that don't exist, because there's literally so much hot money going around that people can't find dumb enough shit to pump it into. And if you don't see that those things are a problem, and you don't see the real case for potentially raising rates, the argument for tapering, you need your head examined. And you shouldn't be calling yourself an economist. That's it. You have to understand Econ 101 before you can understand Econ 800. You can't fucking jump to ultra Keynesian MMT theory for experts without understanding and retaining how supply and demand works, retaining how behavioral incentives work. You can't just go to PhD level shit, okay? Which is just a bunch of gobbledygook that has been, if you took the basic laws of economics and you were building a house with them, like modern monetary theory would be like the 50,000th addition that you put on the house, where the house is just so lopsided and ready to just fall over anyways because of all the shit you've piled on. It's not a big fucking mystery what all this MMT shit is. It is human beings trying to fuck with the laws of economics, the natural laws of economics, right? It's human beings arrogant enough to think that they can usurp these laws ad infinitum, right, forever, in order to consistently benefit everybody and benefit the greater good and keep our politicians getting reelected. That is essentially what MMT is. It's the latest in the totem pole of brilliant ideas that our arrogance has led us to believe that we can micromanage all of the factors of the economy in such a way that we're never going to have to endure pain and we're going to never have to endure recession ever again. And that, on top of just being, poor logic, is, I think, exceptionally dangerous and will prove to be exceptionally dangerous. Anytime you fuck with any natural laws too much, things have a way of whipsawing back and visiting upon you several fold what it is that you've done incorrectly. And, the market will always win. The free market will always win. That's why these countries that try to hyperinflate their currency, they can only do it for so long, and then eventually they got to pay the piper. So if you don't realize that, if you can't take a step back from that and look at 5th grade economic law, then you don't really belong calling yourself an economist, okay? And I always laugh when people say, like, oh, Chris Irons, a financial speaker, or, Chris Irons, who is an economic commentator. I'm always like, don't call me that. I'm not an economic commentator. I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I hold no licenses. I hold no registrations. But you know what? I am going to call myself an economist because I know I'm making more fucking sense than anybody at the Fed is right now. I'm not imagining things. One of two things are true. Either I'm completely misguided and I just don't understand anything at all, or I'm hitting the nail right on the head, and because either they choose to ignore it or because they don't have two brain cells to rub together, the actual economists don't get it. So if you're looking for the real economist, he's driving around Philadelphia right now trying to find a parking spot, balding, with tattoos, just got home from the gym, with a passenger side rear view mirror that half of which is missing because somebody just fucking hit my car a couple weeks ago. I'm the economist now, all right? The Fed's no longer the economist. And the same thing goes with active fund managers, all right? And that's a whole other discussion, but that's going to be the next podcast. What is an active fund manager? Is Cathie Wood an active fund manager? Is that what she is? Does making decisions like the one she's been making over the last couple of weeks, does that make you an active fund manager? Will she be rewarded in the long term? Stay tuned and find out. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. And I just found a parking spot, so I'm the fuck out of here. Peace.